All right, what I have here is the BPS Bushcraft knife. This thing, the Bushcraft 2, I believe it is. This is a carbon steel. It comes in carbon steel or stainless steel, so whichever one you prefer. This thing has a very thick blade and it fits perfectly in my hand. It has walnut scales and they even engraved my logo in this one. But this is an amazing knife. It even includes a nice leather sheath. It has a little drop down on there so it can dangle at your side. And this thing, once you put it in here, it's not going anywhere. It's completely secure. Right here we have the Mora Garberg. This is a full tang, high carbon steel knife. It has a rubberized handle. This is very popular with bushcrafters and survivalists throughout the world. And then we have the BPS Bushcraft 2. This thing is a full tang knife. It has a high carbon steel or stainless steel, whichever variation you want, just like the Mora knife. And this thing has walnut scales and it is very comfortable in the hand. It's not as bulky as the Garberg, but yet it is still very nimble to where you can go ahead and do some carving work. And as you can tell, I have put it through its paces. I have split logs with it and carved and done all kinds of stuff with this knife. Now in comparison, these knives are exactly the same length. The blades seem to be the same thickness, and if you put them on top of each other, the blades are the same width. Both of them have a leather sheath. This one right here has the button on it for the Garberg where you just flap it over and button it. And this one, it folds in there and you push it down and it secures it by the whole length of the blade. With this one, I have taped a whetstone on here so I can sharpen it in the field, and I'll probably do the same thing with this one right here. Now both of these knives have a hole here for a lanyard if you want. The Mora knife's hole is a little bit further down, and on this one right here, it's really in a more comfortable spot. That way it's not going to be in your hand. And whereas this one right here, you're going to have the lanyard all wrapped up in your hand. Now I'm going to continue testing out the BPS knife, but overall, so far, I absolutely love it. It is a very nice weight knife. I absolutely love the Mora knife as well. This has been my favorite knife up to this point. I believe that the BPS knife is going to take the lead as far as my favorite knife because it is so much more comfortable in my hand. The BPS is not as bulky as the Mora knife, and it is actually a little bit more comfortable in your hand. So far, I've done a lot of carving with this knife and it hasn't caused any blisters or anything like that. After a while, the Mora knife will start rubbing the blister right here. Now, what I've noticed about the BPS knife is that the spine is not as sharp as the Garberg, so that's easily fixed with a file. But when you're doing it this way, is extremely sharp. If you're doing it this way, it's relatively dull. So that's easily fixed with a file. But the Mora knife is, I'm telling you, the spine on this blade is very sharp. And as you know, you need a sharp spine to get fine shavings off of fat wood or any kind of fine shavings, or to also strike your ferro rod. Now, either one of these knives is perfect for bushcrafting and camping or primitive camping or whatnot. But to be honest with you, this one is, you get more bang for the buck. Now, the Mora knife was around $89 the last time I checked. I'll leave a link in the description. But this thing right here was extremely cost effective until I ran across these. This knife right here, the Bushcraft 2, which is just as effective as the Mora knife, runs you about $32. This thing is amazing for the price. I'll leave a link in the description. For a couple extra dollars, they'll actually even engrave whatever you want engraved on the side of the knife. I've run this knife through logs. I have carved all kinds of stuff with it. I've cut down saplings with it. I've hit it with a mallet, just like I would with the Mora knife. And let me tell you, it hasn't nothing, no chips, no anything, no deformities, anything like that. Now this is just like the Mora knife with as far as a Scandinavian grind, and both of them are Scandi grinds, but this one right here just seems to like slice through everything more than this one. I hope this video was helpful with comparing the Mora knife with the BPS knife. And remember, follow Jesus, everything else will fall into place. I'll see you next time. God bless you.